Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the brand identity that I created ugh.
In our sleep. Yes, sir. Yeah. You ever been in love before?
Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the brand identity that I created that landed me my first creative 9 to 5 role. This brand identity really kickstarted my design career after having changed careers. And so I don't feel like I've ever really spoke about this, but I transitioned from like a very customer service, very varied background. We'll say that. So I've worked a variety of careers or a variety of jobs in different fields, but none of those ever felt like my career. So I knew that I wanted to transition into design. It was something that I had been kind of dibbling dabbling with since the end of college. So I left my last 9 to 5 role, which was claims related, and it took me about 6 months to find this creative role. It's really opened the door for me as a designer. When I thought of Bloom Fitness, I was solely freelancing. I had just wrapped up a contracted customer service role. So with doing that, I was just really on the prowl for like something that would be the door opening moment into a creative 9 to 5. I was on LinkedIn, Indeed. I was, doing all the things that I knew to do at the time, trying to, get a career or get a job in, a creative field because I knew that I wanted to do graphic design. At the time, it was just graphic design, but now, brand strategy, marketing, graphic design is also tossed in there. There's a lot going on now, but at the time, it was just I want to have a creative 9 to 5 doing graphic design. It was the start of 2024, literally January, where I was just really inspired by like a women's only gym. I was just thinking about how, because I'm a woman in the gym, sometimes it could get, a little rowdy. It could be a lot. You can't find the machine. You got to compete with another man, for the machine. It's just, a lot of tulada. Or, ogling eyes, things of that nature. I was like, what if there was a women's only gym similar to that of what used to be Curves, a women's only gym where, women could go have their wellness classes, fitness classes, all the free weights, squat racks, Smith machines in the world, not have to compete with anybody. There's enough space for everyone. It's just women's only. When I created this project, there was no strategy behind it, no outline strategy, if you will. In the reflection, as I go through it, talking with you guys, I noticed that there was a strategy that I had in my design choices. And so I hit the mark with strategy, but that was not the intention at all when I did this. When I did this project, this being my very first brand identity as someone who, is outwardly claiming themselves as a graphic designer, we're making the switch, we're making the change. I really just wanted the project to look like it was completed by a graphic designer, someone who did this and they did it well. It looked aesthetically appealing, it hit all the marks. That was all that I was worried about. I was really worried about the visuals and how everything flowed and really just understanding the process and getting something to say, hey, even if this didn't hit the mark completely, I at least tried it. I was unaware that at the time I was doing branding, I was doing a little bit of marketing and graphic design. I didn't realize it was like all those things tossed into one. I was really just looking at it as graphic design, and based off of everything I've seen in examples, what I've seen other people do, watching videos on YouTube, roaming around on Pinterest, this is what I've seen, so this is what I'm going to do. Women needed an inclusive space to freely accomplish their fitness goals in a space that felt communal and also felt, empowering, right? So, boom, that was the problem that, I was hoping to solve. And so for me, I was like, this would be, a perfect idea because curves did exist, right? So there is a market for it. Curves did exist, but curves failed. And, there aren't as many as I remember growing up as a kid. I remember seeing them all the time, but now there's so few of them. So I was thinking, how about a modern, minimalistic, it's not pushing too much, hey, we just want women, it's overly the top, feminine, girly pop, but I wanted something that was neutral and that's like, hey, we're fitness, we're serious, but we do want you to come. We are here for you. And that was really my goal in things. The time constraint, though, essentially became like I needed to complete this and get this finished. It was carved out for the most part, but it was the thing of figuring out the layout, figuring out um, final touches. Do I want to add anything more? Is it perfect? The imposter syndrome started kicking in. So I remember finishing this. The day I spoke with the recruiter, probably like sometime early in the day. I stayed up the rest of the day, the rest of the night. I didn't finish this brand identity probably until like 4 or 5 in the morning. And because I told her I'd have it sent to her, by the next day because I knew it wasn't done. I sent it early in the morning, way before it made 24 hours for our phone call, and that was it. I treated this as a real brand because I wanted hiring managers, I wanted clients to see this and feel like it was a real brand. I think that's the essence of a lot of the creative work that we do is you don't want to just create something and be like, I created this. How is it going to be used in real life? Because I feel like that's where you get a lot of your clients. Yeah, there are people that will commission you and they want to have something solely just creative, just, a cool idea. But I feel like when it comes to having the full service, that full hand touch, yeah. So even though I didn't explicitly outline a strategic approach for this brand identity, reviewing it now, 2 years out, I can definitely look at it and tell, like, oh no, I definitely made strategic choices within, the color palette, the typography, the logo. I was thinking about it in a strategic manner, breaking it down and knowing how I think and how my brain works. I know why I picked the things that I picked years ago. And I feel like this is one of the projects that, had I created it last year, it would have made that list of my best and could have been better. But Bloom Fitness for me has always been one of my standout like projects as a designer because I feel like there was a lot of knowledge, reason, and good execution behind it, like through and through. I wanted my Bloom Fitness, brand identity to be different from Curves. So I made sure when I picked my color palette, I didn't want to pick anything that was loud. I didn't want to pick it. I wanted the gym to be different from Curves. I was thinking something of like an EOS or like a Gold's Gym, but marketed towards women and revamped. I picked the type that I picked because I didn't want things to look serious in the realm of fitness, and I wanted it to be something that was perceived seriously by public and actually, be perceived as real. For the colors, I chose green because green is a color that represents balance, harmony. Yellow, positivity, joy. Brown, stability, structure, and support. And the cream is soothing and comforting. I wanted this system to be scalable, and that was something I didn't even realize at the time when I was creating this, but it shows in the way that I have these application markups. I want it to be scalable. The assets that I have provided, whoever is the CEO of Bloom Fitness. So here you can take this logo and you can put it on a water bottle, you put it on a hat, you put it on a sweatshirt. And in my interview, my hiring manager did, bring this project up and they mentioned how they liked it. They told me that after, seeing that brand identity for Bloom Fitness, that they felt really confident in my abilities to collaborate and contribute to the design team. Probably also seeing my resume as a new designer. Um, she said, and being on the outside of it, having been in that role and left that role was definitely more so of a branding role than it was more so just graphic design, like, making logos, creating flyers, digital things. It was more so branding, following the branding guidelines, creating things within those guidelines. So there were aspects of graphic design in there. It was just, when I think about it now, I would say, yeah, it was more so of like a branding ordeal, which isn't bad because I really do enjoy it. And hey, me myself, I'm a brand strategist. That's something that I do. That is one of my niches. I rock with it. It's just something that now I know more about. I can look back and be like, ah, yes. The type of style, it was something that the client was looking for. This was a new client for my firm, so that's something, having been there, I do believe. So it was a very rewarding experience. That was one for the books. That one. That was. So looking back at this now in January of 2026, the things that I know I would probably change are the logos, not necessarily how they look, but I would probably build something else out. I would probably do a rebrand with this project because I like it that much. Um, but specifically, I know like when I have like the brand guidelines, those logos are not they're not distributed correctly. They're not even lined up. Some of them are off. The alignment's off. Like, it's just so funny because like being as trained and as far now into design, branding, everything else, my eye is so trained. I can look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is off. These flowers are not the same size. Keep my type choice the same. I keep my color palette the same. I really feel like this is something that I would like to just work with in the future to build out because I like where this already stands on its own, not being like a super big identity. So there's really not much I would change with this besides the logos. the logos and some of the assets. I would correct the flower, the size issue with the flower, and I would probably add more. Okay, so I think if you're a designer who is aspiring to have a creative 9 to 5, or you just are seeking to, market yourself better and get more clients within freelancing, one thing that I think you should take from this, or just know in general, is let your design have reason. Let there be a reason that you designed whatever it is you designed for the way you did. I don't think you should put too much pressure on yourself when you're first starting out. I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't put pressure on myself that much with starting out with this project. Most of the pressure came from the fact that I was trying to get it done within a small window, and I felt like I was just so unversed with so many things that it creates pause and doubt and things like that. But like I said, for me, I can tell within this project, oh, there was a lot of strategy in how I, picked the elements and the colors and the things that I did. I just wasn't doing it as explicitly as now, being, so much farther into this. I already go into things thinking, okay, well, what is my perceived strategy? It's not a thing of naturally just, oh, I know this color is like this, I know this color is that. There's more research behind it. There's a little bit more work, and that's okay, but that's going to be something that you have to work at and like grow, because it's going to be a necessary tool in your creative career. You have to at some point realize that you have to create for a reason. What is the reason? Know your reason. Know why you pick the things that you pick. Know why you design the way that you do, because you want that to speak for itself in its design, but you also want to be able to speak to it if you have to explain it, ever run through it with, a hiring manager or a client. I don't know. So, yeah, guys, that is the very first brand identity I ever created as a graphic designer that landed me my first creative 9 to 5 role after transitioning, from customer service, claims roles into something geared solely towards creative. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know if you guys want to see any other project breakdowns. Um, I got some other stuff in the works, so there's more things coming, more content coming. Go ahead and like this video if you like the video. Go ahead and subscribe if you like these design breakdowns of my projects, if you like these tips and tricks, if you just like looking at me. Hi. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you guys next week. Bye.
Give it to me one time, nephew.
It's something about this